Hey folks, welcome back to another Massive video. So, now that, we got the 1.5 year anniversary for this game, right? I assume a lot of, people have been checking the game out. I mean, we had that, like, huge, well, and by huge, I mean, like, half a second spotlight in the, Pokemon Presents commercial. I've been seeing, like, ads for the game everywhere and all that. And a lot of old players that, played at the beginning, maybe kind of quit or took a break or whatever, have been asking me to do a video, just to get folks kind of caught up on what the heck's going on right now. Because if you look at the game, it is very, 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 very much different than how it was 1.5 years ago, right? So, yeah, let's get into this. So I've got 5 things that I do want to mention that folks probably should know if you are, again, coming back to the game. The first step is subscribing to the channel. Alright, I'm kidding. Well, not really. I mean, it'd be nice if you do, but that's not like the actual first thing. But yeah, I upload Poem Masters content every single day, as you can probably see, but that's not the first point. Alright, so the first thing I do want to mention is that the game mode. If you were here at the launch of the game, or a few months after launch of the game, around like before Christmas time, right? You would probably know that like the big thing about this game is, oh, you join up with other friends playing co-op. The game right now, that is like, you could, again, the co-op stages are still here, but it's just not a focal point of the game at all anymore, right? It's basically it's sort of like a side thing, which you could do, and you should probably do it if you have time, right? It doesn't cost any stamina, whatever, right? And it just drops you a lot of gear that could increase the same types, or different types, but like for the same types, it doubles the increase, right? The stats, right? You got the HP gears, physical attack gears, and then special attack gears, right? So you should still do them, but they're not like the focal point of the game right now. Like the whole like meta is more focused on actually single player, right? And co-op isn't like a huge deal anymore. There's also main story co-op, which you just beat them once and then get over with. The main story co-op, they don't really do anything. At least the EX co-op drops like 2-star gear and stuff, right? And the main story co-op, just don't just beat them once and then you're fine, right? And then also when the Battle Villa opens, there's also a Battle Villa co-op, which refreshes once per day. That's a really great opportunity to pick up some lucky cookies, which lucky cookies are also something. It's not like that new anymore. It's been a while, but again, if you haven't played in a very long time, then it's probably new to you. Lucky cookies are just it's just an RNG kind of thing that you could use on your sync pairs that could give them a new passive, right? You just basically, it's a free new passive for your sync pairs. But anyways, again, like I mentioned before, the main meta right now is single player content, and that is mainly in 4 different modes. First one being Battle Villa, which I mentioned before. So Battle Villa, it has 30 floors, right? 30 stages of Battle Villa. It's not always up, it opens periodically, right? And once it opens, again, it has 30 floors. Each floor gets a bit more difficult. These floors get shuffled in order, except for the first 5, every time the Battle Villa reopens. And the main thing here is you have 9 units that you could use per day, and their HP doesn't get recovered after a battle. Their MP that you use doesn't get recovered after a battle. So it's kind of like an endurance battle. They go through it, and then every day at the reset, you get a reset where you could reset everything, right? And then it doesn't reset your stage, just reset your conditions of your Pokemon and all that stuff, your team. Then you can pick another 9 or use the same 9, but at like back at max HP, max MP, and all that stuff. That's where you mainly get a lot of the lucky cookies that we mentioned before, and lucky scrolls, which are scrolls that are needed to unlock passive slots on your sync pairs for these lucky skills, right? Also gems, all that stuff, a lot of really great things, right? And then moving on, the other thing is we got full force battles. Full force battles are basically just these one-time battles that they come up with every, like, usually story events, right? For example, we have this Leon story event up right now, and it has 2 full force battles, round 1 and round 2. each time, or not each time, each stage, if you beat them, you get move candies, which we'll talk about in a bit, which are very, 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 very important, right? But we'll talk more about move candies in a bit, but just, keep in mind, here's where you get move candies. So these are basically just one-time battles. Well, you could fight it more than once, I guess, for fun. But yeah, it's usually nine opponents, and then you can use up to 9, sync pairs yourself, or 3 teams of 3, right? To defeat this, and then if you beat it, you get some rewards. There's stuff in the missions, there's gems, all that stuff. There's medals that you could put on your profile. That looks kind of cool, but doesn't really serve any other purpose other than looking really nice, which is good enough. But again, the main thing you want to get here is the move candies, which again we'll talk about in a bit what they do. Moving on, the other thing, the other big challenging mode is the legendary arena. As you can see, there's a bunch of these right now. We got Entei, Cobalion, Latios, Azelf, all these legendary arenas, right? And then these again periodically are available, and they, every few months, they add new ones in here as well, right? And they also recycle the old ones. So if you miss them, don't worry, they'll all come back up, right? And these, if you beat them, again, you also get medals, but you also get like other great stuff as well, gems, etc., all that. So another great source for you to collect some rewards, all that. And these are generally pretty difficult. It's basically just a legendary Pokemon. They usually have 3 health bars that you have to take out. Each health bar is very, 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 very long, and they all have their own sort of gimmicks that make them like relatively difficult. For example, Cresselia like dodges a lot. Let's see what else. Latios, there's like 3 opponents that you have to fight. Tapu Bulu sets up grassy terrain. And a lot of other different things, right? That they try to set up difficult challenges for you, right? And then the last one, which is the probably the hardest mode in the game right now, is the Champion Stadium. So this is a mode that resets every single week, and every single week they change difficulties and all that stuff. So basically, in this mode, right, you have to beat the Elite Four plus the champion, and then and there's 2 modes in this of itself. So there's the regular mode where you could just go beat them, and then there's parameters for each round that can either help you or hurt you depending on the cases, right? For example, the first round over here, it gives a special attack boost for both you and your opponent, so you probably want to use this on, say, like Bruno, who doesn't really have too many special attacks, right? So you're just getting that boost for yourself, or neutralizing it if you're not using any special attackers, right? You got all these stuff that could help you beat them, and these are there's like, in comparison to all the other battles, these are only like 3 Pokemon you have to beat, but these are generally relatively harder because these opponents hit pretty hard, and they stay along, they stay alive relatively long as well. And once you beat the specific stadium, champion stadium, with one of each type, right? Once you're done beating them with one of each type, you get access to Master Mode, which is the hardest mode in the game right now, and gives probably the best rewards, right? So, even in normal mode, you actually get some really nice rewards as well. You get Champion Spirits and potential power-up tickets, right? These potential power-up tickets you could, exchange into 5-star power-ups, and then Champion Spirits are the items that you need to make your 5 stars into 6 stars, right? 6-star EXs, which we'll again talk about more in a bit when we talk about how that process works. So once you get into Master Mode, what happens is you have to turn it on first, and then for every stage, there's like some buffs that you could pick for your opponent. These are not for you. You're picking buffs for your opponent to make this more challenging, much harder. And if you beat it, you get more points. You get these points, right? So each one of these, gives you a certain amount of points. That again, buffs the opponent, right? For example, give the opponent 50% more special attack and physical attack, right? Or you decrease your own HP by 50% at the start of the battle. Gives you, again, a certain amount of points. Maxes out at 1.5k points per match, and after you beat the thing, depending on how many points you get a certain amount of rewards. Again, more 5-star power-up tickets. You got move candy coins, which you can exchange for move candies. You got straight up, 5-star power-ups, all this stuff, champion spirits, and then after that you got some other things like skill spheres, CoOp sync orbs, and all that, right? Which are not, these are grindable, but these are cool to get, I guess. So yeah, that's the first thing I want to mention. Just in terms of most of the stuff in this game has changed from co-op to mainly single player. So moving on, let's talk about some other stuff. So speaking of sync orbs, let's talk about sync grids. Sync grids are basically expansions for sync pairs, right? These are the things that make a sync pair actually much better than they are at their base kit, right? For example, let's go into what's a good example here? Let's do how about Leon? All right, so these grid things are called sync grids, right? To activate them, you need these sync orbs, and these sync orbs, again, you could get them from the training area. There's a sync orb stage that you could attempt, I think 10 times per day, right? Or whatever, and then you get a bunch of orbs, and then you could use those orbs to build the sync grids. So not every sync pair has sync grids, right? All the 3-star and 4-star gacha units do not have sync grids. A very good percentage of the free units have sync grids, and a lot of them are very powerful, by the way. And then all but one gacha 5-star has sync grids, that one being Leaf, which should be getting her sync grid expansion very soon, right? Regular Leaf with Eevee. And basically, this is like a grid where you invest your orbs into, and then you get certain stuff, right? There's stat nodes. These are the blue ones. Blue ones are usually stats. The green ones are usually just move power-ups. That's you could pick that up for more earthquake power, or over here got inferno power-ups. And then you got the yellow ones, which are usually passives, right? You get fast track for Leon over here if you want. Down here you got burn synergy 3, which gives Leon an extra 30% damage when the opponent is burned, which is very powerful, obviously, right? And then these are the sync move power-up nodes. These are all the same, just 20%, or not 20%, 25 extra BP up for your sync move. And each one of these nodes, as you can see, costs a certain amount of energy. Each sync pair has a total of 60 energy to spend. So it's kind of like, it's like an EV system, except like better, right? So like you have a max amount that you could spend, and then you could choose where to put them in, right? You can't just select the whole grid, right? You have to carefully select the good things and build some sort of grid with these, right? And again, you max out at 60 energy, right? So you have to pick wisely. Some sync pairs, their grid could drastically change their playstyle. For example, say let's sing so Leaf, right? You could build a grid that consists stuff of like potion MP refreshes, potion master healers, which heals them more, a potent toxin, which deals more poison damage than like more of like a supportish grid. Or you could build a very powerful damaging grid, right? So, again, depending on how the grid goes, you can make her a great potion support or a huge damage dealer, right? You pick up a Relentless, which powers up your sync move. The more opponent's defense has been lowered. You have stuff like Toxic Power 5, which boosts your damage by 50% if the opponent is poison, all that stuff, right? You could build a grid to run her in Sun teams, right? With Healing Sun 1, Speeding Sun 2, all that stuff. So again, the grid is very important, and it changes how you play, right? Some grids you could see like some of these nodes are locked, and those nodes can be unlocked depending on your sync move level, right? And so the sync move level is this thing down here, -5 out of 5 because I have 5 copies. For sync grids, the only relevant stages are 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, and 3 out of 5. 4 out of 5 and 5 out of 5 does not impact the sync rate at all. It just buffs your move power-ups a bit, right? And the way to get that is just to get more copies of this sync pair, right? So, for example, if you pull your first Plumeria, then you're at 1 out of 5 Plumeria. If you pull 2 Plumerias, then you have 2 out of 5 Plumerias. If you pull 3 Plumerias, then you're at 3 out of 5 Plumerias. And if you're wondering, well, how does, how does one raise a move level for a free sync pair that you can pull? Like, for example, well, let's see. Can I find a free sync pair, please? Oh, something like, I don't know, Koga, right? So, Koga, you can pull Koga from the gacha system, right? And what you have to do is use move candies. Koga is a 4-star tech unit. Mine's 5-star, but it starts out a 4-star tech unit. And what you have to do is use these move candies. You go to potential and move level, right? And where's my guy? Koga. Let's just make this quicker. All right, Koga, right? You have to go over here, level up moves, and then you can have these move candies, which are the ones that I mentioned before in the full force battles. That's where you generally get your move candies from. If you have been playing for a bit, right? Didn't quit that early. You would remember these like type level up events where they would give you like extra copies of free to play sync pairs. They took away those and replaced them with move candies. It's basically literally the same thing. It's literally the same thing, except they look different. One's a candy, one's a sync pair, right? People like looking at sync pairs better, but there's literally no difference between those. So use these move candies, and that increases your move level by 1, right? And again, these come from the full force battles, mostly from the full force battles, in the story events that they keep on coming. You get so many a month, right? Different ones. So got to use them in correspondence to their original potential level, right? And then their role, right? And all that stuff. And you could also get 5-star move candies, which you could use on your 5-star gacha sync pairs. If you collect enough of those move candy coins, if you get 20 of them, you could go to the exchange shop and then exchange them for a 5-star move candy. These are the ones that you want to use on your gacha sync pairs, right? The ones that you get from the summons, all that stuff. So, all right, there we go. That's grids and move candies. And then the fourth thing I do want to mention is the 6-star EX thing, right? Which came during the first year anniversary. And it's slowly being, given to a lot of the older sync pairs in the game. Not everyone has them right now. But ever since the first year anniversary, right, every single new sync pair has come, or every single new summonable sync pair has come with a 6-star EX, and every month they're slowly adding, 6-star EXs to old units. So not all of them have it yet. Like Grimsley doesn't have a 6-star EX, but there are, a decent amount of sync pairs with 6-star EXs right now. And basically, what you have to do to get them to 6-star EX is you have to first raise them to 5-star, and then use potential power-ups for to get them 20 out of 20. Potential power-ups, you get them either by summoning, which is the fastest way, or again, Champion Stadium stuff, right? And for Champion Stadium, you have to exchange these. These do get the cost of these do get steeper the more you use them. So my suggestion is just to use either the first 5 or first 10 on a unit, and then use regular power-ups for the rest, right? But once you do get them to 5-star, 20 out of 20, you have the option. Let me see. I have a 5-star 20 out of 20. That's not 6-star EX. All right. There you go. So once you're 5-star 20 out of 20, it shows this screen where you could use 50 of these champion spirits that, again, you get every single week by completing the champion stadium, right? And the master mode gives you 10 extra, right? It's 25 per week, and then with the master mode, 10 extra, 35. I think I got that right? And then you could increase them into 6-star EXs with these champion spirits, right? So that's how we get 6-star EXs. So what do 6-star EXs do? They do multiple things. Let me just find mine first. So first of all, they look different, right? So they have an outfit change. This is, I guess, Marnie's, right? They have outfit changes. You could switch between them, right? You don't if you don't like their 6REX outfit, you could still keep them. And the other thing about the 6REXs is they get a buff to their sync move. All right, they get an extra power up to their sync move, and what they do depends on what role they are, right? Again, there's strikers, support, and tanks. Different roles, 6REXs do different things, but within the same role, they do the same thing, right? For starting with striker EXs, are the most straightforward ones. What they do is when you use their sync move, the sync move hits every one of your opponents, right? It hits all three, so it turns your sync move into AoE, right? The great thing about that is it doesn't actually split damage, because regular moves like Heat Wave or whatever, they actually split damage. It splits like 50% damage on each of your opponents, but the Striker 6REX sync move actually doesn't split damage, so it's a full 100% damage on all your opponents. And then for Tech EXs, these give an extra 1.5 times multiplier on your sync moves. So the great thing about the Striker EXs is you could hit the sides at the same time. The great thing about Tech's EXs is that they hit very, very, very hard, right? Usually, the mid is always, the really pesky one that you want to get rid of, right? They have sync moves, which are problematic, right? It's your whole team, and usually they have the most HP, all that stuff. So the great thing about Tech EXs is that you could have a huge, powerful sync move, and that could hit them, right? That, generally, among, the top damage dealers in the game, they're all like Tech EXs with their huge sync nukes, right? So that's how Tech EXs work. And the support EXs, a lot of people get confused by this, but it's really not that confusing. So what support EXs do, when after you sync move, there's like this sync icon at the beside like your status, right? Under your sync pair, and then there's a count of that, right? Every time you sync, you get a damage buff, right? First time you sync, you get an extra 50% damage buff, and then every subsequent time you sync, you get more damage buffs, right? So basically, what support EXs do for your whole team, by the way, is that once they sync, you get for the first time they sync, right? It only works for the first sync in the whole battle. It gives your whole team double the sync buff, which is pretty crazy. So it's basically just giving your whole team like free damage. So it gives 2 of those sync buffs to your whole team, which is really nice. That powers up not just your regular moves, but also your sync moves as well going forward. So that's 6REXs, right? And then last thing, 5th thing I do want to mention over here is legendary events. So legendary events are very important, especially if if you're free to play or whatever, you don't spend too much on the game, because these legendary Pokemon are getting very powerful. They started out relatively nice, but then afterwards they kind of all just weren't that great. But now they've had a huge resurgence, because with Xerneas, we are getting our first legendary event sync pair with a sync grid, and a lot of the other ones, moving forward, if they rerun some of these, I think Palkia might be getting a rerun soon, right? Could potentially have their sync grid expanded as well, and those will be very powerful, right? And Xerneas's already is expanded, and they give you, first of all, they give you Xerneas for free, which is a 5-star sync pair, and then they also give you free power-ups, right? For Xerneas, specifically custom power-ups to get Xerneas to 20 out of 20, and then you get, free copies of Xerneas, to, I think in the missions, right, to get Xerneas 5 out of 5, so you get a free 5 out of 5, 20 out of 20 legendary sync pair that has a grid expanded and is insane. Like Xerneas, again, a free unit, straight up, it's top tier support in the game. It's a top 3, top 5 support in the game, and they gave us it for free, right? So again, these legendary events, they don't come around that often, but they come around often enough, right? Either once per month or once per 2 months. So you got to take these opportunities to get them, and then max them out, right? Get them 5 out of 520. It really isn't too hard. I think they've all, went to this like prize box system. So basically, you just use units, beat these stages, get these tokens. Again, it's completely free, and then you get all these prizes here and there, right? You also have full force battles as well, all that stuff. So these are key. Get these legendary Pokemon. Like right now, the ones that are out is got Xerneas, Palkia, Rayquaza, Ho-Oh, Mewtwo, and Solgaleo, right? I think that's all of them. The only one in the game right now that has a Synchrid is Xerneas, which is incredibly powerful. Again, like I mentioned before, in the future, when those come back or when we get new ones, we're expected them to all have expanded Synchrids as well, and we're also expecting them to also come with enough copies to get 5 out of 5, 20 out of 20 as well. So that's gonna be it for this one, I guess. A lot of stuff, especially again if you haven't been playing for a while. The game's gotten really nice in my opinion, right? They keep on improving every month. They have a developer letter that they give us a heads up on what they're working on, what's going well, what's not. Again, if you ever have any issues, all that stuff, you can always send a feedback in game that they could look at, right? Any suggestions, all that stuff. So yeah, anyways, that's gonna be this one, I guess. Hope you guys enjoy. Let me guys think in the comments down below. Like and enjoy this video, start our channel for some more Pokemon Masters content. I'll see you guys in the next one.